Hi guys, welcome back to the Lost Generation podcast. This is our third episode. Can you guys believe that? I'm Ling. I am back finally. Did you guys miss me in the second episode?
Not really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally Marc, as you can see.
Hey.
And this is Thuong.
Hi, I'm here again, as always.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about our younger self, the experience that we had, the lessons we learned, and how that translates into our present self, and maybe the future as well. So, Marc, do you want to share first?
Right. I think I'm gonna start with my younger self first, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a teenager, and I think I have talked about this in other episode, in the second episode, is that I was living not for myself at the time, but more for the people around me, especially my friends. Because in a way, like my friends didn't really take me as I was, because they wanted me to be this either class clown or something else for them to either make fun of, which I was totally okay, but it was not okay at all, because like friend was supposed to be, I don't know, maybe giving you a sense of belonging, like we said before, but I didn't have that. So when Facebook came to Vietnam, I think like in 2012, right?
Yeah.
It was a big thing, but to me it was like a platform where I wanted to show how cool and how edgy I was. But again, it was still not technically because of me, but for people to kind of, oh, okay, so Ming is cool now, or Ming is, doing great, or something like that. But again, I think it's just a part of me lying to myself.
I think we can all relate to that experience of us going above and beyond to have some sort of image of us online that is portrayed quite perfectly
But
and
it was like
unreal.
But it was more than like a platform, it was just like
Yeah.
a proof, I think, a statement of myself to the people around me that, hey, look at me now. But I was not totally like that at all. It was just like a facade in a way.
I think for all of us, we had that phase. It's just how bad
Severe.
of an extent it was. Yeah, because I didn't really remember experiencing it that bad. Like I remember there was a phase that I also care a lot about what I post online, and like when I go to certain places, I have to find a place to take a picture, put it somewhere.
Yeah, I think like I took 3 photos. And then I just repeatedly kind of try to uploading it and see how many likes I got. If it was low, I'm gonna delete it.
And then post it again.
Yeah, so it's in a way, it's really like showcase how insecure I was.
Oh yeah, so I was never gotten to that.
Yeah,
that
I think
point.
like I'm really kind of severe.
Yeah, because I was just uploading it and then that would be done. Like I would look at the likes, but not to the extent of deleting it and posting it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it must really mean something for you at that age.
Yeah.
Where did that come from anyway?
I think like I said before, it would stem initially from my insecurities at the time. I was like trying to get an impression of people that maybe I have this kind of like a cool image or something. So in a way, I think that translates to the fact that I was going to rebel something. And because I was overthinking quite a lot about this problem, and then it just got really ahead of the initial problem that I had. So at that time, I felt like I was really wanting to be rebellious, even at points that I don't even know what I'm rebellious about. Because I have like an ordinary family in a way, like they love me, but maybe again, like you have actually said before in your previous episode, maybe the mundaneness of the things that I have kind of wants me to be rebel. And most of the time, I think it was just like an internal thing for me, being overthink and then have the insecurity, and it just leads to one way or another,
How did that rebellious behavior like act out really?
I just felt like a certain anger in a way. If my mom and my dad trying to talk me into doing this and that.
Yeah.
Even sometimes, like now I realize that maybe it was actually good for me, but at that time I was just like, man, it's just like family, man. Like, the really angst kind of teen thing going on. Maybe like the core point was I was really insecure about myself firstly. So I didn't really want to showcase that anymore, because I have like Facebook, and then, it just got worse from that, I guess. How about you guys?
The thing about me is that I was a very calm and chill child growing up. I probably still am right now. My mom's favorite story was like when she picked me up from school, or like she or anybody gives me like a gift or a present, I wouldn't be like over excited about it. I would just contain that excitement, and that kind of carry with me until I go into secondary and also high school as well, because I don't remember that I really have a phase where I really be rebellious or I acted out.
Right.
I was just kind of very staying on the same line throughout my whole life,
Right.
containing all that acting out behavior.
Yeah. But why do you like just keep your excitement down though? Because I mean, as a child, if you get gifts or something, you would kind of try to, not even trying, it just like...
It naturally came
Yeah,
out, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
the thing about me is that's why it amazed my mom so much, because I didn't have that side. She knows that I was excited, but also she also knows that it's natural that I'm just keeping it down for some reason.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just my way of being, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. Because I think like when I was young, I was quite spoiled in a way. Because at that time, my mom and my dad were making big doughs. So like they bought gifts to me pretty much like every week, I remember. And yeah, I think like the excitement of me just came out because of that. And sometimes even like not even satisfied because the gifts were like this and like that. So I kind of just fully express what I was. But for you, I think it's actually interesting that you just keep it in.
Yeah, I was just like politely say thank you.
Probably I'm not polite at all. I mean, again, I think I'm spoiled at that time. I'm so privileged in a way at that time, but I didn't even know that. And I just want to be this angst kind of teen, try to rebel something that I don't even know at times. You know, so The Rebel with a Cause, which is a James Dean film that I watch, not necessarily like correlates with my meaning, but I think that was the definition of myself at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about Ling?
I think I was the opposite to you, Thuong.
Yeah, I think most child are the opposite of me.
Yeah.
I don't really know why. That's that. I just wasn't good at like expressing my emotions in general. I don't know.
Do you feel like you are better now in a way?
Yeah, I think so. Like I think I just give in to my emotion more, which I don't know if it's for better or for worse, but it's definitely more comfortable, and I can see that people relate to that more than the calm and chilled, and to a greater extent people would say that quite cold.
Yeah, I mean, as a child, to have that composure is actually a good virtue. No, I'm just saying, it's like, it's quite peculiar, you know, for children to do that, but it's interesting. Yeah, for sure. Going back to Ling, how about you?
I used to be pretty excited and shows my emotions like most of the time, whether I'm angry or I'm happy. But then I don't remember when I just thought of it as not really cool, and showing my emotions was not cool. So I just try to contain it and like keep a straight face. And now I'm so used to it that I have to make an effort to show my emotions, or else people would just think that I'm angry because I have a rustic bitch face.
Right.
So
I think we all need to find some sort of balance with like our emotions. Like we still need to find a way to control it somehow, but not really just contain it all down to like one calm place.
I don't think like it's a one side of a coin thing, you know. You kind of have to have like both features for you to actually compose. You know, you can't be either like overly emotional or you just hide your emotions all the time. So that's interesting, because I think for me this period even goes into when I was in Australia. When people ask about me, you know, I say, oh yeah, I went to Australia to study, you know, like the international label kind of actually amps up the problem that I have, because it didn't got resolved or anything. It just kept amplifying, because now I use that label to kind of feel proud of myself, rather than I actually just feel like, oh, I actually achieved to go to Australia. So, it just kept on for like until I was 19, 20, I think, because that was the time where I met a certain friend of mine, maybe more than a friend a little bit, but at that time we didn't really know. So she was someone that was just really like special to me, because again, I didn't really talk to my parents at the time, and the people that I kind of knew, either they are not really close to me, or they just didn't really care to actually say something about like what I'm doing. But she was someone who actually called out my bullshit, and even though like I didn't really change right away, but it made me kind of rethink about like, what am I doing with my life, even though I spent my time alone, she was one of the people that actually was beside me, and could kind of see like the potential that I could have and call out my bullshit. So I think that leads to a question that I wanted to ask you guys a little bit, is that, do you guys have a special someone, or maybe like a special event, I presume, that somehow affect you in the way you are now,
I think that I'm just a combination of a lot of people around me. Yeah, but I think looking back, I take a lot from my mom. I got the whole caring and overthinking brain from her, but then I also got the passionate thing from my brother. My friends basically teach me how to feel things. There's just certain people that I met just reminds me of who I used to be and reminds me of who I could be. So yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things and events that happened that shaped us. I think I can't just say one person because it's a lot of them.
You are close with your brother, right?
Yeah,
you
I
are
am.
kind of close with your parents right now.
I would say that my family is really close, but I didn't really talk to my brother in our childhood because we were both very stubborn. And
I mean, siblings.
Siblings, like we fight. But it took him like moving away, move out of the house, moved across the world, and then come back. And I really appreciate having that bond with him again. That is, I think, when we actually bonded, and I got all of the influence that I have from him starting from that point, I think.
You said that you took a lot of like attributes from your mom, right? Like you said, you have kind of overthink like her, or you are compassionate like her, I guess. But to me, it's on the surface. I have to meet someone to actually call out my fucking bullshit at the time. Her name is Cam, but not just Cam, but maybe psychologically I got like the attributes from my mom and my dad as well.
I think it just depends on that moment that she was like the definite thing that happens at the right time that made like an unforgettable impression.
Because she was beside me technically. I didn't talk to my parents, so that's why. How about you though?
To me, it's more of a specific event rather than a person.
Okay.
So a little bit about my younger self. I would say I used to be pretty carefree and indifferent. I felt like I was just looking on life instead of really living it. And it only like really took a toll on me when our family had an incident last year. That incident made me rethink a lot of things in my life. At first, I guess about 6 to 7 months, I was just really angry and selfish. I thought that it was just me against the world and no one was beside me. But then I kind of learned my lessons. Everyone has their own struggles, and that I don't need to be a bitch all of the time.
I think because we kind of knew about your incident, it's okay to be at that time to be a little bit selfish, because it's just a huge deal, for a family. So I totally kind of get what you mean.
For me, it was like a complete opposite, because there was an incident that happened to a family as well, but my reaction was not to be selfish, but I would rather, I would say I lost myself throughout that whole process, because suddenly when that happened, my family just became the priority of my life. Yeah, so I just kind of throw everything that I know away and like do whatever they want with my life, and just to buy them the comfort and the peace of mind that they need. Yeah, until like I don't know, not like wake up one day, but yeah, I just wake up one day and realize, wow, what have I been doing? Because a friend of mine actually asked me like, well, what do you like?
I think it's actually just a simple question.
Yeah, it is a very simple question, but like
it made you think.
Yeah, it made me think, because I just met him. I'm supposed to be able to tell him something, but I told him, but at the same time I think like I haven't really done any of those things in a really long time. So yeah, I think it's just the different responses that we have to the difficulties that happens in our lives. But I think it just takes like a moment or a person to ask us something really simple to keep us grounded again, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's actually very considerate of you to really prioritize your family. Like many people say that they prioritize their family, but they don't really do that. And you were like really there for them.
I don't know like to what extent was I really prioritizing them. To me at that time, now looking back, I just feel like, wow, I really just forgot everything about myself during that period.
Yeah, and it kind of comes back to like the statement that I said, that maybe sometimes we live for other people. You know, not just for yourself. And I think like sometimes you kind of need like either a wake-up call or someone or even a certain event for you to kind of like, you know, just rethink about, you know, things.
You just wake up and then, oh my god, what just happened?
And I didn't even say like what you did was not good, you know, it was maybe at that time appropriate for the event. But I'm just saying, you know, sometimes you live for the people but not for yourself, which is not totally true. You have to kind of live for yourself firstly. I think that's on my part. I don't know about you guys.
So too.
Again, another balance that we need in our lives. We can't really be too self-centered, but then at the same time, like if we just lose everything about ourselves to be considerate about the other people, then what is left of us, you know? So yeah.
But do you think like it's actually that easy to kind of balance like both aspects? Because okay, to me, maybe I didn't have like a major event as you guys, but it took me like a hell ton of years to kind of actually just like mature for my own self at that time. I'm not saying like I'm mature than anyone. I'm just saying I have matured or maybe grown up from I used to be in a certain aspect.
To answer that, it was extremely difficult to find a balance, because you don't know like when should you choose to do what you like, when should you choose to follow what your parents set out for you, when should, because you know back in your mind that they know the best thing for you, but that is debatable, because with our generation we just have to try everything by ourselves before we settle for
and I'm not saying like you have to agree to all of your parents, you know, sayings. It's just sometimes I think you just kind of need to consider what they said a little bit, because maybe it's actually good for you. But so I'm not a yes man, but I'm just saying, you know, just take considerations whether your parents said something or not.
What about Ling? How was the balancing process work out for you?
Well, I definitely do not have balance right now.
No, I don't think any of us really have it. We just think that we have it, but actually no.
I don't think like I can actually say I have like a full balance. You know, like sometimes it kind of, it's like a scale basically. Sometimes it can go a little bit up and I'm like, whoa, you calm the fuck down, bruh. You know, you need to be cool about this shit. But again, it's not like I'm already perfect or anything like that. You know, it's like it's a process, and sometimes, you know, it took even until like when you are old to actually know what the fuck are you doing or what you want to do, you know.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, my opinions on parents are that they're just still figuring things out. They don't have their shit together at all. So I kind of grow into the idea that our parents are just big child, older child, that's all. Because I read quite a bit about psychology. Many psychologists say that our parents didn't really sort out their problems before they had us, so their problems kind of just translated into us as their child. Okay. And then we as a family kind of struggled with the same problems.
I heard this from another podcast that it just said the biggest burden of a child's life is the unfinished goal of the parents.
Kind of. Because like honestly, we are kind of more privileged than the other families here in Vietnam, because some parents are quite tough at the at their children's decisions to do something, you know. So so that's interesting. Big child. I have never really like thought about my mom as a big child, because she, let's just say like she's really responsible, you know, like she's the one who take care of pretty much everything, because she overthinks a lot. But I think it kind of have a lot of merits into like maybe sometimes their unfinished ideas kind of translate to the child, and some really do it forcefully in a way. And honestly, fortunately, that's not really our parents.
Some
I guess
are way more considerate.
I think our parents are just a little bit easier than us. But I think we mentioned this in the last episode that also translates into another problem, that we put pressure on ourselves as well. It's just like a cycle of when are we gonna get out of this? But it's quite fascinating that for me and Ling, it took us like to go through a horrible event to act as like a wake-up call for us to really reconsider ourselves and our lives. What was that process like for you? Did you just wake up one day and realize that, oh my god, there's something wrong? Or what is it like?
I think like I kind of said it before, but it took me a duration of time, you know, not like I'm going to just, you know, transform into the way I am today, but because I was having Cam by my side in a way, and she was just not just calling out of my bullshit, but she kind of supported me on the things that maybe I didn't even realize that I have that in me at that time. In a way, it was just like me retract the things that I did either in middle school or high school. You know, I just kept thinking about like, what the fuck did I do to a lot of people, or what did I do to myself? You know, I'm not embarrassed about it, because in a way it's a process for me to learn, but it's also like a thing for me to reflect, because like, I can look at my Facebook feed like really kind of like from the 2012 without feeling embarrassed. I'm not. I don't have the feeling of cringe though, because
really?
like
That's great.
That's
great.
great.
You accepted yourself.
Because in a way it's just like a reflection of like, oh, okay, so that was me. You know, I'm not fucking perfect. I was a douche at that time, I think. But I look at it as in like, okay, so I think I have matured from that. And in a way, it should have happened that way for me to actually be the man I am today. You know, like kind of like that.
So I think that philosophy can be applied to Ling and I as well. The way that horrible event happened, but maybe it happened for a reason. And if there's any good thing came out of that, it's just us growing up in a way. Because I was a very carefree high schooler. I just basically filter my life with pink, and I was blindly optimistic in a way. But because that happened, it just kind of unlocked something in me that made me feel a lot more things and really be considerate of what is actually happening. I'm still quite optimistic, as most people can tell.
And it should be, you know?
I still am, but in a way there's a realistic aspect added to it, and my self-expression and my emotion expression kind of just add up to be the person that I am today. For better or for worse, it is what it is, I think. Yeah.
I think you're getting into your own balance. I guess when you put it that way, I think so.
Yeah.
I just think that it's great because Ming didn't really have to go through a horrible event in order to become who he is today, like be more mature and be more considerate. Sure, it took him a lot of time and a really special person.
And I actually struggled a lot to actually come up to
just
like maybe a conclusion. But to go on.
It's a different kind of suffering, I guess.
I'm more of like internal, you know. I'm just like struggling with myself all the time, you know.
Yeah, I guess for me and Thuong, we kind of need something external to really like be like a wake up, wake up call.
It's kind of things.
They're like, wake the fuck up. This is not the real world. The real world is difficult. But it's just something good should came out of something bad as well.
Yeah, I think again, it's like you don't have to have a big incident to actually for you to realize about yourself. But maybe sometimes, you know, overthink it a little bit, you know. It doesn't it kind of hurt me a little bit, but not necessarily in my way, but just think about yourself, you know, like what you are amounted to, what you want to do, and take just consideration of your parents as well.
Yeah, for me right now, I'm kind of having a lot of pressure from my parents, mental health wise. I guess they think that I'm in a better state than my little sister. So they kind of putting a lot of pressure on me as well too. Like, you really should be there for your sister. She only listened to you. You've been through the same shit. So now you really should like stay beside her and like be her guide. Yeah,
I think you still have to find some more balance, I guess. It's not like you have to find it right away. I think like it's kind of bullshit to say like, oh, I have like a perfect personality, because no one kind of have it. You know, either they can balance well or either they are trying to still balancing it. Okay, so you mentioned mental health, right? Again, I was kind of struggling with that when I was in Australia as well. And maybe it was one of the main reasons, I think, was that I wanted to dream big. You know, I wanted to do this and then do that and then have this at an age of like 25 or something like that, you know. But then in a way, Cam, my parents, a lot of good friends actually, they kind of made me, and myself as well, but like they made me realize that sometimes you don't have to think about the future in a big picture, but maybe like if you have something right now and you can just progress from that, I think it would be okay, you know. You don't have to dream big. Okay, sure, maybe it's not going to applicable to many people, but to me, I'm fine with that idea at the moment. And maybe it just like takes some time off for me to de-stress a little bit, because I'm not really sure like what will happen to me when I'm turned 30. But I just know that maybe if I have something at that time, I would just keep on doing it and then progress, you know, not exactly try to have like a schedule or something like that, you know.
How about you though, Thuong? You talked about how you like planning things.
I used to do that a lot. I used to have like years long like plan, but after that incident happened, I think I just kind of realized that the universe always have the way to fuck up my plans. I know that it does that to a lot of other people as well. You're not alone. But it's not like I stopped planning, but I stopped putting too much expectation on it, being that it has to be that way. It has to be exactly the way I plan it. I still do have plan and dreams and things that I want to achieve with my life. But if I were to like really deduce it down so that other people don't really know what I want, and I potentially could not get, but if I really deduce it down, then it would be, I think I just want my future self to be someone that my current self would be proud of.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, you know.
Yeah, I know like it sounds really vague and probably highly
a bit pinkish.
A bit highly hypocritical, but then it's just what I want for myself in the future. I don't really want to regret anything that I'm going to do later on. At the end of the day, I would end up being someone anyway, so it might as well be someone that I'm going to be proud of. And if anything, I would like to maintain the relationship that I'm having with people around me and those who have like the positive influence on me. Take care of my parents, take care of my family. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as yours, but not really, because I think like for me, no, I'm just saying, damn. Okay, on the same page as well. Yeah, it's that like I think it's okay to actually just make mistakes. You know, like maybe some parts of you, when looking back, you don't have to feel proud of every certain aspects.
Yeah, definitely.
But
not.
that is the part. Yeah, but I think failure is actually a part for you to learn, and I failed a lot. That's my point. You know, like in a way, it kind of shaped how I view the world or how I treat people, even how I do things, you know. So I think it's okay to fail, you know. But sure, you know, be optimistic as well. You don't have to be like me.
I can have that positive influence on you.
Yeah, I'm pretty like, I don't know, I'm not negative anymore, but I'm just like cynical, you know. I look at things in like two sides sometimes, and it's kind of, sometimes you don't have to do that, but
yeah, you just do. It's just don't put too much of the darker side on it anyway.
For me right now, my number one goal is to get a decent job and taking care of my family, obviously. Yeah, like Thuong said, just strive to be someone that I would be proud of. And I guess that's it for me. That's a bit vague, but Thuong kind of already said what I wanted to say, so
yeah, I think that's like the general cap of this whole progress, that us reviewing our process growing up.
It just maybe just like believe in yourself firstly, be confident in yourself, and then okay, sure, maybe you can you know, like make a schedule about your future. I think it's great if you can do that, or you just gonna go with the flow a little bit, you know, like from what you have now, and then you just progress from that and see what happens. Life is like a box of chocolate in a way.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, you know, you never know what you're gonna get. That's the point, you know. I think that's that goddamn Forrest Gump, man. I like it. Life's like a box of chocolate. Never know what you're gonna get. I wish like I met him in the bus station for like some of it. Like nghe kể chuyện, like tell me about like